Welcome. This is our weekly Q&A. If you're new to this, what we do, any health fitness questions you have, feel free to ask your questions in the comments. I will answer them as they come up. If you're catching us on the replay, I'll always answer them in next week's session, so feel free to put them in and we'll rock and roll. While I wait for questions, I wanted to open with nutrition and journaling. This is a thing that I know with a lot of clients, there's always pushback, challenge, um, because of the work that is required of doing something like journaling. And I know it can be hard um, to a certain extent, but however, sometimes what I find is clients make it harder than what it has to be because we get super obsessive over trying to be as exact as possible with our food and meal options, and sometimes we can't because we're not in charge of making the food, so we don't know for sure how much and what went into it. um, for most people, the main purpose of journaling is simply to raise conscious awareness of the food choices and decisions that we're making throughout the day about what we're eating. So it's not necessarily about 100% accuracy on the exact amount of calories that you're consuming, as it is making you aware of grabbing things as you walk by the break room or walk by someone's desk who always has candy out in the candy dish. Mindless snacking when you're preparing dinner for the family. um, we make an insane amount of unconscious food decisions in a day, and the whole purpose of food journaling is to help raise awareness to those choices, because the more aware we are, we tend to track towards better decisions once that's brought to our actual conscious awareness. um, I've had numerous times with clients, we've gotten them to a maintenance point, so they're just kind of riding, they're working out, but we're not stringently tracking anything. Comments will come up of like, well, I feel like everything's creeping up a bit with my weight. I'll say like, well, track for a couple days between now and our next session. We'll go over it and see what's going on. They'll bring it in, I'll look through it, everything looks really, really good, and I'll say that, and then I get the follow up like, well, because I was writing it down, I quit having this in the afternoon. I quit at having this as a post lunch treat or a snack after dinner, desserts, things like that. Just simply having to write everything down made them make better decisions and choices. So the easiest form of journaling when it comes to kind of keeping track of your food is you can do a pen and paper or just a basic note app on your phone, whatever one you want to use, and do what, when, and why you're eating. And you got to do it in the moment. Trying to do a recall, 2, 3, 5, 8 hours after it's already happened isn't really going to be as effective as doing it in the moment with each of these things. So the idea behind this is, one, we're just being more aware of what we're taking in, because you're right, taking action and writing it down. But by asking yourself, going through, what am I eating? What time is it? Why am I eating this? Starts making you more aware about a lot of trigger and emotional connections and habit connections that you have with a lot of the food and eating that's going on in your day-to-day and week-by-week life that you may not have been completely aware of. And once we get that awareness, then we can start identifying other ways to intercede, either by changing the habits, so the expectation and association with the food and snacking isn't there, or by finding new and alternate coping mechanisms. That way we have other go-tos instead of food for that comfort, that calming, or distraction. Um, Big things, especially in aspects of creating habit and lifestyle that will actually last for you. so the weight that you get off stays off. Um, Going more advanced than just the what, when, and why with journaling, there's a variety of food trackers. We have one in our app with our clients, MyFitnessPal. I think Fitbit even has one on their own app, and a variety of others. I know a lot of clients have come to me with different things that they've discovered. Um, any of them work, because the main idea of any sort of food journaling tool, whether it be an app or an actual pen and paper journal, is raising that conscious awareness of what am I eating, why am I eating it, how much or when am I eating it. That conscious awareness takes care of a good 80% of a lot of the issues for most people when it comes to seeing consistent weight loss and being able to maintain a better weight. It's when we fall into a lot of our pit traps of either temptations, habitual associations with things, emotional coping and soothing. Those factors are what get most people in trouble, especially if you're doing something extremely restrictive and stringent with a new diet, especially because most people are usually doing something fairly restrictive for New Year's. You're going to run into somewhere at some point not having the tools in place, because you never had to really think about, okay, a lot of the stuff that I was eating, it wasn't just because it was there, it was because I was using it as a crutch or a coping mechanism for these type of situations. And if you haven't identified alternatives, it can either one lead to a binging, you know, downfall from the diet, or just a lot of extra stress because you don't have a new outlet to reset that stress, that um, frustration, a lot of the emotional triggers. If we don't have an outlet for it, it tends to just build up, and it can be detrimental to either us or those around us. So, a few things to think about and consider when it comes to food journaling, and the reasons why. It's not just to be stringent on the exact amount of calories, it's just simply to raise awareness of what you're eating, why you're eating it, when it's going on, so you can make better choices and maintain that better awareness of those food decisions in your day-to-day, week-by-week life. Hope that was helpful for everyone. Hope everyone has a great week, and remember to stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health.